Hello my friends, welcome to Happy World TV's Happy Talk. Today I invited many people, Mr. Ron Sito, Mrs. Elaine Mead and Mrs. Min Roche, 3 people together here today. I'll ask Ron first. Do you know how many Rotary clubs in the world?
Well, Tony, the number is a very good number for me. It's 33,000.
Oh.
33,000 Rotary
You like
clubs.
number 3?
I like number 3. Look at me. I like number 3, yes.
Some people like number 7, lucky 7.
Well, number 7 is good too.
Okay. And then, how many Rotary clubs in New Zealand?
Now, that is gonna test my answer, but maybe I should ask my fellow governor next to me, Elaine. How many do you think there are in New Zealand?
You know?
I think there's around just over 250 something.
Oh.
I think so. I think that's about right. Yes. Thank you.
250 Rotary clubs in New Zealand.
And the Pacific Islands.
Pacific Island, including Pacific Island.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because we are made up of 6 Rotary districts in New Zealand, and the clubs belong to those Rotary districts, and they take up, they include the Pacific Islands in there.
As long as I know, the motto of Rotary Club is
Service above self.
service above self.
Well, I got it right.
Yes, right. Think about others first.
Yes.
Is it correct?
Yes, it's about giving back of yourself and your time and your talent to the community. Yes.
Rotary Club is originally a charitable club.
It still is a charitable organisation, yes.
Charitable organization. What's your main job in your Rotary Club?
Well, in my Rotary Club, I'm just the chief parking attendant in my own club. But as I said, Rotary districts, I'm made up of Rotary districts, and I've been very privileged and honoured to have been a past governor in my Rotary district, which is 9920. Elaine's Rotary district is 9910, and there are 2 Rotary districts in Auckland and the Pacific Islands. And my main job for our district is as the coordinator of End Polio, which in my mind is Rotary's greatest project. And that's part of the global World Polio Initiative, Eradicate Polio, and we have Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation very much involved in supporting this particular End Polio initiative.
If you say service above self, there are many issues. There are many things to do. For instance, health issues, or hunger issues, or environmental issues,
Yes.
education, and literacy, etc. And you are especially interested in polio.
Yes.
Is it correct?
Well, polio is Rotary's major focused project, and it's been our project for about the last 35 plus years. And as a result of a lot of the work that Rotary has done over the years with polio, and in fact now recently this year we've managed to get Africa to the point where it's now considered wild virus polio free, and we only have the 2 countries left, Afghanistan and Pakistan. So we've got this push on to make good on our promise to the children of the world to present them with a wild virus polio free world. And so that's why it's such a big focus for Rotary and Rotarians.
And now's the time, I think we can all do this. It is this close. Eradicating from humankind.
In New Zealand, very much like that.
There are no wild virus polio cases in New Zealand. The last case I think was in the late 60s, early 70s from New Zealand.
And through your campaign, you can get some funding and help overseas. Is it correct to me?
Yes, that's right. So we are whatever we can get from this fundraising, we're gonna have to donate for the foundation, which is we're gonna have to go to the end polio.
Okay.
And I think at this point it's worth mentioning it's the best fundraiser in the world because the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has a multiplier. So if for every dollar raised, they give $2. So it becomes $3.
Okay.
And last year, and we're about to talk about this Polio All Transit event, it was called the Polio All Trains event last year, an inaugural event for the Auckland Rotary districts. We raised $76,000. 3 times $76,000 went to polio because of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's multiplier. So it's the best fundraiser in the world.
Okay, and then why you do the campaign in the train? Any special reason?
Well, I think good. That's a very good question because it started with one Rotarian in Australia doing it in Sydney, and of course there are more train stations in Sydney than there are in Auckland, but they only had a handful of Rotarians doing that train ride. So he suggested that we consider it in New Zealand. So the Auckland districts took it and developed it and actually made it bigger and bolder in that we've only got 40 train stations in Auckland. We went to every one of them and it took from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night. But we developed this idea of a sea of red
Like we're wearing.
t-shirts. And at every station there was a Rotary Club with friends and family there to greet us.
Well, it's interesting because in fact we met some very different people on the train because of the areas that you go through in Auckland. You cross the diversity of Auckland.
You can move wide areas through train.
Yes.
That's why.
That's correct.
And could you tell me the campaign date and time and venue?
The train riders start at Britomart, and at 7:45 a.m. we have actually Mayor Phil Goff coming to join us and basically opening the event for us. So that's been a huge success story in terms of getting the mayor support for this event.
7:45 a.m. is not too early.
Not for Rotarians and end polio and the mayor of Auckland.
From my place, it's very long way. And,
Well, catch a train and meet us.
Or a ferry start earlier.
anybody can participate to the campaign.
Yes, absolutely. We'll love the general public to get behind it. Because I think, as Elaine said earlier, with COVID-19, the people are more aware of viruses now, and polio is a virus.
Okay. Anyway, the last question.
Yeah.
What's your originate from?
Where do I originate from? Well, if I was, because I'm in New Zealand, I'll tell you about my whakapapa. My ancestor, my grandfather, and my father came from a province called Guangdong in China.
Okay.
And from there they went to Fiji, where I was born. I was born in Suva, Fiji. And now I currently live and work from Ellerslie in New Zealand, Auckland in New Zealand. So that's that lineage. That's because I'm in New Zealand. It's a long answer to your question, but that's where I come from.
Very multicultural family. And you, Elaine?
Well, I am actually an Aucklander, born and bred.
Oh.
Yeah, so my My family's quite rooted in New Zealand. My back to 1840 was the first sort of from our family that ended up arriving here. So, yes, I'm the true Aucklander here.
Oh,
We're going to have one of them.
very pure New Zealander.
Well, yes, with the usual English background, but yes.
How Min?
Originally I was born in the Philippines.
Oh.
Yes, but I grew up in Manila, which is the city. And I came here to New Zealand in 1987, so I'm about more than 24 years. I'm said that I'm already a New Zealander.
If you ask for VIPs, and it's an election time, so we're mindful of, because it's election time, but David Seymour has already confirmed because his mother had polio.
Oh, yeah.
Others have been included, like Simeon Brown is confirmed this year, and also I believe Chris Luxon has confirmed. But election time, very difficult to get all the political VIPs. Councillor Paul Young is going to be attending as well. So.
Okay, I've talked to Rotarian guys today, Mr. Ron Cito, Mrs. Elaine Mee, and Mrs. Min Roche, 3 guys today, regarding the campaign of polio all transit. I think many people will participate to your campaign this year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Good luck.
Lovely.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. Very good promotion.